Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. It is Marvin speaking. We're just going to get straight into an article by The Mirror. And this was produced by William Morgan on the 14th of August 2025, this year. And it goes on to say, people, drug dealers arrested at Spanish holiday hotspot where Jay Slater partied. The drugs ring targeted sun-seeking British tourists in the Canary Islands, with dealers pretending to sell sunglasses, watches, souvenirs, while also offering dangerous drugs. So it goes on to say, people, 55 men selling souvenirs in Tenerife arrested after police unearthed a major rugs operation. Spanish police have cracked down on a major rug syndicate targeting British holidaymakers in the Canary Islands, where street vendors doubling as dealers, offering crack cocaine, ecstasy, ketamine, and designer rugs to tourists. And don't forget, a lot of it we do not know what's open, what's actually in them, to be honest. In a sweeping raid, 55 individuals were apprehended across various sites in Tenerife, in Archipelago, most frequently spotted by sun-loving Brits, in a collaborative sting by national police and local forces. I'm just wondering whether that's got a lot to do with the UK police as well, because, like I said, this has been a topic of conversation since the Jay Slater case. The operation was sparked by the discovery of a common ploy used by the traffickers who feigned selling sunglasses, watches, and trinkets while stashing illicit substances in public spots like benches and foliage in a tactic designed to evade capture with rugs in their possession. So technically they were hiding them nearby and maybe going around the corner if they've got a deal. One key area on surveillance during the police action with the notorious Les Veronica strip in Playa de las America, the same locals were 19-year-old British lad Jay Slater had his last night out before his tragic death in June 2024. It makes you wonder why they weren't on surveillance last year at the end of the day, because, like I said, a lot of the questions in the Jay Slater case hasn't really been answered. And like I said, a lot of the public and people who were invested in this case believe that we still don't know the truth. At the inquest from the Lancashire youngster, Dr. Stephanie Martin, a toxicologist, reported finding cocaine, ecstasy, and ketamine in his system post-mortem. And they were obviously the rugs mentioned that the police apprehended from rug dealers. A rug dealer previously convicted were accompanied Jay that fatal evening confessed to the Preston coroner's court that the teen had popped a pill and had a bit of sniff prior for his ill-fated trek through a personal national park. We'll talk about that in a bit. The Canarian Weekly had reported that 55 men aged between 25 and 40 who were arrested in Tenerife for allegedly peddling rugs to tourists have prior convictions for rug dealing related offences. The arrest took place from April to July during the focus operation in areas frequent by holidaymakers. So technically what they're basically saying is that they're actually doing something about it now, because I think it is what happened to Jay is affecting people from going there and cancelling their holidays and going somewhere else. In total, the Canarian revealed that the investigations removed the following from circulation: 29 doses of crack, 22 doses of MDMA, 38 doses of cocaine, 10 doses of ketamine, 56 ecstasy tablets. And the ecstasy tablets, you just don't know what's in them, and it could really mess people up. 18 packs of hashish and 114 single doses of marijuana, and that's probably just off one dealer. Spanish authorities stated that these dealers primarily targeted young British tourists on beaches and popular party locations. The numerous arrests also occurring along Tenerife, Fenibí, Seafront, and Avena España. They further noted that the operation was designed to safeguard resident tourists and the island's reputation as a secure destination for British holidaymakers. I think that is it, people. I just want to go just say something about, obviously, the compilations basically of people talking about the Jay Slater, because I know there's a few YouTubers out there like Duncan, who's mentioned them, and channels that are doing Jay Slater compilations. And obviously, PSYOP's been mentioned by myself and others as well. And also the beach video, uh, which is bizarre because it was never mentioned by MWT, which is kind of strange, to be honest with you. And for me, if I was an investigations officer, or because I do investigations anyway, it's my own business, but to be honest with you, it seems like to me that the investigations was a bit of a joke from the Guardia Civil, basically not really have any sightings, or not even telling the public of sightings of Jay, whether he was in that club. And I'm just wondering whether the family were happy technically with that, Jay leaving the club and who we left with. And I'm sure names were mentioned who might have been there, like people like Lee and Lee T and basically Jay's arch enemy Tom H. Do you know what I mean? It makes you wonder what story you got, because like I said, if that was your kid out there and there were no CCTV and you don't really know who he left with because his friends were not telling the truth, it makes you wonder what this world's coming into. And I think this is why so many people are absolutely fuming about the case at the end of the day, because we never got the answers I think we deserved. And the people obviously putting money into the GoFund as me never got any answers. So technically, you can put money in, but you can't talk about the case. It never really made sense to me. And obviously, the beach video, I believe that was 100% truth. And when you know something is being closed down, like the importance of the beach video, up on the boat, nothing ever made sense to me. Is that why wasn't that closely looked into? And don't forget, it was a Spanish case, Tenerife case of Jay Slater going missing at the end of the day. But like I said, we heard in the early days XCID people saying that at the end of the day, that it should have been a double investigation from the start, but they didn't want to exploit what's really going on there. This is why things are so quiet in Tenerife. You hear people go missing, and you never hear things, things what happened again. Listen, this Geraint case, that is really, really strange. And I've done a video on it in that he was found, and yet the British police haven't even told us that he was found, unless I've heard something different. Yeah, PSYOP, it's something's odd at the end of the day. And the thing about MWT, yes, he did look into this case, but yes, I think he had answers. I think he knew what happened, but he certainly didn't really want to go in a situation when you knew what kind of people were involved in this case. Let me know what you think, people. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment. Thank you very much indeed.